Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you've all been going really well. Today we're checking out what is in this box from REVV Amplification. You open it up and the first thing you're confronted with are these Haribo gummy bears. And sometimes when you buy a pedal and you open it up and you get the box, it can be a little bit underwhelming. And you open the box and you look at the pedal and you're like, yeah, it looks okay. But opening up a pedal and seeing a packet of gummy bears immediately put me in the best mood I've been in a long time. Also in the box, the REVV G3. This is essentially a preamp pedal. You can use it like a distortion pedal, but I think it really shines as a preamp pedal, and we're going to hear it with its sibling, the REVV G4. So purple rev, red rev. I'm going to run them into the effects return of this trusty Marshall DSL. This is a DSL 100, and it is firing over to my cab room where I'm using it with my usual Marshall 412 with V30s, mic'd up with an SM57. So really quickly, both of these pedals, aside from the color difference, are different circuits, but they both have 3-band EQ, gain, volume, and a 3-way aggression switch. What we're going to do is run the G3 into the G4 into the power amp return. I'm going to use my PRS SC245 and we're going to play some riffs and some leads with this thing. And unfortunately, you won't be able to see the stank face, or maybe it's fortunate in this video. Nevertheless, let's check out the REVV G3 and G4. I'm pretty excited to try these two pedals out side by side. The G3, also known as the purple one, to me leans towards more of like a 5150 kind of vibe. It's a little bit tighter than the G4, also known as the red one, which channels a bit of that kind of recto Uberschall, like hyped up low end, heaps of saturation. But don't take my word for it, because we're going to have a listen to them. There is this 3-way aggression switch on each pedal, which essentially is like taking each of these and chucking in a little pre-EQ on all of them. The blue position, to me, sounds like the way you would use, like, a tube screamer in front of a high gain amp to tighten everything up, whereas the red is more of like a saturation switch. It makes everything a bit gooier. So we're going to start with the purple one. As you can see, I've got the EQ all set to noon, and we'll just have a listen to them side by side, and then I'll do a bit of tweaking. So as you can hear, even at the stock settings, what I would consider the stock settings with bass, middle, and treble at noon, which isn't necessarily flat, but it's like guitar player psychology where you start with everything at noon. I think these already sound really good. So that's very clever from the people at REVV to do that, because I know guitar players are pretty conservative with where we set knobs. Now, with this pedal, I really like it with the blue aggression setting, so with the switch up. And what I like to do, what I've sort of figured out works really well with this particular rig, pull a little bit of mid-range out and kind of boost the bass, and it does that flubby recto thing, which I really love, and I'm sure a bunch of you really hate, and a bunch of you probably love as much as I do as well. So when we do that, this is what you get. It's glorious. But then with the G4, if you pull a bit of bass out and you boost the mids, turn the treble down a little bit and set this aggression switch to red, it's actually great for lead sounds. It's got that honk in there that I really like. And if we do a similar thing, I haven't even tweaked out the G3, but what I found with the G3 is pushing the treble and the mids a little bit and pulling out a little bit of bass. And with the gain quite low, I find for what I like, I don't really have to get the gain past noon on this. Somewhere in between 9 o'clock and noon with the blue switch on is pretty close to my ideal kind of rock sound with these settings. So don't really have to change too much. If you want more of that kind of chewy character, setting it on the red switch. What I really like with these two pedals together, though, is setting up the G4 for the rhythm sound. So let's go back there and we'll add a bit more of this bass in. I won't scoop it quite as much. I'll try to keep it pretty neutral sounding. And you can hear that these pedals were probably designed to be used like this, where what I'm going to do is turn the G4 on, and I'm going to set the EQ pretty much at noon here on this pedal, and I'm going to turn the volume all the way up and the gain off. So we're basically going to use it like a clean boost. And I think these two together is really, really awesome. I would go out on a limb and say it's like my favorite non-tube preamp pedal that I've ever heard. These two used together like a two-channel kind of thing. So let's hear that. Actually, I'm going to set the aggression off on this one because we're boosting it. We're boosting red with purple, which is always a pretty good combination in my opinion. Yeah, that's the source for me right there, running the G3 into the G4 there. I might just bring down a little bit of treble on this guy and bring the bass and the mids up a little bit, but it's just so chunky. And what I think is impressive is the way this feels. We're obviously going into a tube power amp, which makes, quite a difference in relation to the feel there. But out of a lot of so-called, even like the dedicated preamp pedals that I've tried, don't kind of do this thing, the super hyped up, super modern high gain thing. I'm going to play with it some more for a little bit. And this ticks a lot of boxes for me. One, it's really easy to set up. Two, you don't have to do a lot of tweaking to get it to sound good. And three, they just look really cool. I mean, red and purple, what isn't there to like? So that's pretty much my first impression of these pedals. I am going to spend some more time with them over the next week or two, and I'm going to put up a more detailed demo obviously using them as dedicated distortion pedals into a clean amp. You've now heard them as a preamp combo, which I think is the way I would use these. And I might even, go out on a limb and actually build myself a mini pedal board around this, because I haven't done that for a long time, like basically an all analog board that I can run direct. So watch this space for those. But for now, there's a first taste of me playing through the REVV G3 and the REVV G4. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hang around for more of these if you like the way they sound. All the information about the pedals is in the video description as always. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. So apparently if you lick the back, you can kind of glue them together and get a power gummy bear. Oh yeah, that's working. That's great. These are good. I'll get into the candy reviewing game next. That's what I should be doing instead of guitar.